Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. It's the podcast where we watch the Muppet movie 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Anthony Strand.
And I'm your other host, Ryan Rowe.
And joining us today, we have a very special return guest. Tell the folks who you are, special guest.
I'm special return guest, Jessica Evans.
That's right, you nailed it. Got it in one.
That is your name.
And I'm delighted to be back.
And we are delighted to have you back. Friend of Tough Pigs going back many years.
Many years, that's right.
And Muppet fan going back many years.
Even more years. And I'm delighted to be here on this is a big show. This is a big episode. I don't want to spoil it for the folks, but we're getting close.
It is a big episode because today we are looking at minutes 91 and 92 of the Muppet movie. We begin in the middle of the Rainbow Connection reprise with Gonzo's line, "Rainbows are memories," and we continue through the rest of the song, ending with a rainbow shining down on a whole bunch of Muppets. So to start with, I wanted to talk about the actual song, the song that is sung at the beginning here, the Rainbow Connection reprise. It feels to me like every line has a different significance to it, and I kind of want to go through them one by one.
Yeah, the other thing to note is that these are different lyrics than at the beginning when Kermit was singing it by himself.
Oh.
Right. These are all new lyrics.
Yeah.
Beginning with Gonzo's line, "Rainbows are memories." And I always love this because Gonzo, we're going to see him in a second flying again with balloons. Or he does here, right? He's flying with balloons here. And it's like he's thinking of that memory of his time in the sky, which he wants to do again, right? He's flying, not walking with fake balloons in their movie because rainbows are memories. And I just think it's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where he gets to do it again.
Well, they're retelling the story of what happened, right? So, I mean, well, I don't want to spoil it, but they're all going to go through their different pieces.
Right, but I think that's why they give Gonzo the line "Rainbows are memories," right? You could give it to anyone. This whole sequence is a memory, but I feel like it means the most to Gonzo because he wants to go back there someday.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Piggy's line is "Sweet dream reminders. What is it you'd like to do?" She's egging Kermit on again, right? She spent this whole movie being Kermit's cheerleader, calling him El Capitan and all these things.
I guess I would also say, as long as you're framing it this way, sweet dream reminders. We saw Piggy have a very sweet dream when she first saw Kermit. She had her whole fantasy sequence.
Oh, that's right.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And then all of the Muppets say, "All of us watching and hoping we'd find it." And guess what? They are all watching this movie at the same time as us.
It's about to get very meta.
Mm-hmm. And then Kermit says, "I've noticed you're watching too." And he looks right at us. It's like Grant Morrison's Animal Man in this.
I was going to say, would you believe I made the same note? But yes, of course you would believe that.
I absolutely would believe that. And for listeners who don't know, Ryan, explain a little bit about Grant Morrison's Animal Man.
It's a DC comic from the 80s with this character who was not that popular before, and then this writer, Grant Morrison, took over and did all these crazy imaginative stories. And there's one of them where he becomes aware that he's a comic book character, and there's a moment where you flip the page, and there's an entire page, full panel of him just staring back at you, looking shocked and saying, "I can see you." So Kermit is looking right at us, just like Animal Man looked right at us in his comic book.
You both thought that exact same thing?
Of course.
Yes, and you know what, Jess? If our friend Joe Hennis had been here, he definitely would have thought the same thing. Like,
well, I guess that makes you perfect hosts. You're totally in sync. I wrote that down too, but mine was to ask, isn't there like a term for that? What do they call that? Is that breaking the
fourth wall?
The fourth wall.
Yes.
when they stares right at the that's what I thought.
And that is a term that is often misunderstood and misused now. Like, people use it anytime a character acknowledges that they're in a movie, which is not really what breaking the fourth wall is. What it really is when characters address the audience directly as if they are speaking through the, like, it comes from theater where there's like an imaginary fourth wall on a set, and then they speak to you through that wall.
So isn't it ironic? I believe the last time I was on the podcast, we also had an example of breaking the fourth wall with the ventriloquist that Anthony insulted.
Oh, right. Edgar Bergen.
Yes, Edgar Bergen. Right?
That's true. So that was acknowledging they're in a movie and then also looking right at us and kind of like...
It was both,
yeah.
Right? He said, oh, it's their movie. Well, no, wait a minute. I guess maybe that was the example of it.
Yeah, and now
the
Kermit
wrong
does
example then.
Yeah. Oh, but one thing I want to mention about that, though, Kermit has the line here, but on the soundtrack album, Fozzie sings that line. I've noticed you're watching too.
Huh.
Oh.
So I don't know which was... I don't know which was recorded first. And I don't know why they made the switch, but I guess it makes more sense for it to be Kermit.
That's another question for Frank Oz on Twitter, I guess.
Well, I think it makes more sense for Kermit. He's the one who's bringing everybody together. So of course he's acknowledging the audience. It's like he's inviting us to come along.
Right? Yeah, I can't really come up with a compelling reason for it to be Fozzie.
Yeah, I don't know. Huh. And then the next line is the whole chorus again. Say, someday you'll find it. The Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and then they get cut off. It's not someday we'll find it, which is what Kermit says at the beginning of the song, at the beginning of the movie. It's someday you'll find it. They're talking to the audience. They're not talking to themselves.
They're talking to me.
Yeah, they're telling us that we will find it someday, which is beautiful, and it makes me feel good that the Muppets have confidence in me.
Yeah, they want to see us find our rainbows.
Yeah, it's very inspiring, encouraging.
Thanks,
it's very
Muppets.
inspiring.
Yeah. It's just what I needed today. Well, they're all breaking the fourth wall then. It's a huge break at the end, which is very foretelling of what is about to happen.
Because what happens next, Jess?
Everything breaks. Gonzo goes into the rainbow and the whole set comes down, and poor little 8-year-old Jessica has a heart attack in the movie theater because everything's getting broken. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
Well, I remember being a kid and just being confused.
Yeah.
Like, I remember just always being like, why is this like... I felt like every time I watched the movie, I would forget that it happened.
Yeah, funny that you say that, because when I watched the clip this time, I also had forgotten that it happened, and I just rewatched the movie not that long ago. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't like that when everything fell down, because it felt like, oh no, like nothing's going to be right. Of course, the end makes up for it, but there is a moment of a little bit of anxiety right there.
Did you find yourself wondering if it was supposed to happen? Like when you watched it as a kid, were you like, what's happening? Why is this in the movie?
Yeah, I guess it was like a little bit of a letdown, because in my, in the kid's mind, it's like, oh, this is the beautiful movie that they're making. And then, but even though that is kind of what happened, right? The crash was also sort of images what had happened in the movie, right? That he crashed. So I shouldn't have been surprised, but it was surprising.
Well, when he first crashes, he just lands on the car. Here, the thing that has always been the most, I guess, savage to me about that scene is Gonzo crashes into the rainbow. Scooter, Bunsen, and Beaker are all sitting on top of the rainbow, and they just fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I had to back that up a couple times to make sure, but you definitely see, like, it falls over, and Bunsen is kind of, I think that's Bunsen, is kind of dangling there for a second, and then just plummets off, and then Scooter falls after him, and Beaker is just clinging on for dear life.
Yeah, it looks like Bunsen tries to hang on and can't, and it's just like if you really look at those three characters, they are dead. They like, for sure. And of course, we see them all again at the end. They're fine. Like, they're Muppets, so it's fine. Yeah, but it's brutal. Just this like horrible accident.
Yeah, this is how Beaker dies, kids.
No wonder I didn't like it when I was 8 years old.
Speaker your fave, Jess?
No, I mean one of. I do love that little guy.
Well, here's something though. We've commented in previous minutes about how flimsy these set pieces are. Like it's all very one-dimensional, like very theatrical, flat set pieces. This rainbow then is surprisingly sturdy. Like this is a very solid rainbow prop in the back.
Yeah, those guys can all sit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think these set pieces looked that flimsy. They seemed pretty well constructed. I mean, obviously not the ceiling of the place they're in. That's the other thing. I was a little like, I don't know, I wasn't picturing soundstage, I guess.
As a kid or now?
As a kid. As a
Oh,
kid.
Right.
Yeah. You know, like you just think, oh, I don't know, we should be filmed outside somehow. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
like the Muppet movie. I think
Yeah.
when you're a kid, you want it to line up with the movie that we already watched. Right?
Yeah. It just seems so like, what are they even doing?
Yeah. Well, and then Crazy Harry doesn't help because like he decides to add more pyrotechnics.
Do you think he's doing that on purpose though, or is it just because he's startled by everything that's going on?
Ryan, he's Crazy Harry.
Well,
Yeah, I feel like he had it ready to go, and he sees the opportunity.
that's true.
Yeah,
but
I
I
mean-
noticed he does it right after one of these flats falls down. So I wondered if he was just like kind of instinctively flinching and pulling back, and he happens to be his hands happen to be attached to those levers, so he pulls them back.
Why do you think that accidents make Crazy Harry flinch rather than get excited?
Well,
What about Crazy Harry would lead you to believe that?
That's
Yeah,
an
you're
excellent
some defense
point.
attorney there.
I must have been thinking of his brother, Reasonable Harry.
Reasonable Harry. And actually, I should say about Crazy Harry. Actually, when I was talking to a friend, Tough Pigs co-leader Johanna, earlier today, I was talking about how people always theorize about what this scene means or whatever. And Joe said that his theory is Crazy Harry succeeds in setting the Muppets on fire, and now they're dead and in heaven. So, kick that for whatever you want.
This one fan theory will blow your mind.
Yes, right, exactly. So, what do you guys have any theories about what this means? Why the set falls down?
I mean, I don't know if I've ever really thought about theories. It just seems to me like they wanted to do something to get to the point of having the rainbow come in, and I guess it would have been boring or anticlimactic for them just to sing the song and then a rainbow comes in. So they had to add something more dramatic or more interesting, and they landed on everything falling apart.
I think doesn't it sort of mimic the Muppet Show, like how everything goes wrong and things break and fall down and stuff. It just seems like it's so them.
Yeah, that's true. And I would also add that it's probably like we talked on a previous episode that this should be a union production and the crew should not be the performers, right?
Definitely.
So maybe this is evidence that they should have hired a union crew, and maybe the sets would have stayed up.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale. The whole movie is a pro-union parable.
What? All right.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what the rats are for. I always just assumed the rats had their own like separate work.
That's what the rats are for. Wasn't that a famous line from Mad Men? Wasn't that what Don
I think so.
told that? What's Elizabeth Moss's name on Mad Men?
Peggy.
Peggy. Wasn't that what Don Draper told Peggy? All right.
Oh,
That's
did
what the rats are for?
That's what the money's for, is a famous line from Mad Men.
I was actually trying to search my memory to think of what line you were actually referring to, but I hadn't come up with it yet.
Oh, it was that's what the money's for.
Yes, thank you.
Just
I
cut that
love
whole
that
thing
show.
out. Just cut it out.
Wait. It was when he stole her idea for the Mop and Glow commercial, right?
Probably. I didn't watch Mad Men. I just read Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really good show. You should watch it 2 minutes at a time. It would take you like a million years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could watch it in real time. I could watch the 60s pass in real time. So moving on. Anything else about the crashing sequence before we move on?
I have a couple things. I noticed the individual letters of the Hollywood sign falling off. I thought that was a cool little detail when Gonzo crashes into that, or when the rainbow crashes into that, I guess.
Yeah, that's neat.
So like it,
And
yeah.
realistic, I think.
Yeah, I guess they would if you fell on the Hollywood sign. If a giant rainbow fell on the Hollywood sign, all the letters would fall over individually.
Yeah.
Also, the music behind this, I like that it's not like it could have been a lot more dramatic or a lot more ominous, but it's just kind of like it's almost the tone is almost like wonder. There's a moment where there's an instrument that comes in that sounds like a circus calliope. It's like this do 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 do. It's very whimsical more than ominous.
Fanciful was the word I was thinking.
Yes.
Wow. That was great impression.
That's my calliope impression.
I love it.
Thank you.
The other, I don't know if this is significant or not. The other thing that I wrote down is that the only line during the whole crashing sequence is right before the rainbow comes up. Rolf says Kermit. And I don't know if it's significant that Jim Henson's second most prominent character addresses Jim Henson's most prominent character by name. It's the only time anyone speaks. I don't know if it is or not, but I noticed it.
Yeah. It's interesting that they chose Ralph rather than Fozzie to have that one line at that moment.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking...
Well, but Rolf is a little more level-headed than Fozzie.
Fozzie might be panicking.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, that somebody more even-handed would be the one to be like, hit Kermit.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if I completely buy the logic or the physics here of this the way the hole breaks in the ceiling, where there's some kind of like electrical box that explodes and that causes this big I think that's an arc light to explode, and there's like some kind of like a shower of sparks that shoots upwards toward the ceiling, and that somehow breaks the hole in the ceiling.
Seems
Ryan?
legit.
Ryan?
Yes.
This is a movie where a bear drives a station wagon.
Yeah, but does that mean that it shouldn't play according to the rules of physics?
Well, no, all that stuff couldn't be in there according to the rules of physics.
All right.
Yes, Ryan, if a bear drove a car, the claws would ruin the steering wheel immediately.
Why didn't you bring that up back in episode 9 or whatever it was?
Real life logic does not apply to this movie.
Is that true? I don't think bears' claws are that long. I feel like they could drive.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think you're just speculating.
Get a bear. Here's what we'll do. Before we do Great Muppet Caper, we'll get a bear to drive a car for real. Then we'll report back on our findings.
Yeah, everybody keep an eye out for our Kickstarter. Entitled...
Now who's being reasonable? That's my favorite nickname for you, by the way. It's one of them. Reasonable Ryan.
All right.
Well, good old yeah, you're kind of like Reasonable Harry.
Yeah. Waiting for the moment.
He was my favorite Muppet.
He was good. I liked him too.
Yeah.
I like that sketch where Reasonable Harry didn't do anything.
Waited for just the right moment.
Yeah, he was just hanging around.
Yeah. So anyways, then as we discussed, the rainbow comes down through the roof, and Kermit and the gang sing the famous final lines. You don't need me to say them out loud because they're everyone's favorite Muppet quote. You can buy them on a mug. People like to put them on memes. You know what I'm talking about, gang.
It's so cheerful.
I know what you're talking about.
But do the listeners at home know? Yes, they do, because they've seen the Muppet movie.
Are you not going to say them out loud? Or are you?
I'm not going to say them. One of you guys want to say them? Go for it.
Write your own ending. Keep believing. Keep pretending. Come on.
We did just what we set out to do. Thanks to the lovers,
the dreamers, and you. Come on.
That's right. Those are the ones. You can buy it on a mug.
Right.
You can't hear it without joining in.
This is another one of these, sometimes I can't help myself correcting people who are wrong about Muppets on the internet.
I've written many articles for this website.
I have too many. But these lines, especially "Life's like a movie, write your own ending," are often seen in like memes and things on the internet credited to Jim Henson, which I know everyone listening to this podcast knows that the songs in this movie were written by Paul Williams and Kenny Asher, but I think it's worth pointing out that Jim Henson played a character who said those words in this scene, but he did not, as far as we know, he did not write those words.
Right. But he did say them in a movie.
It's true.
So it's not as, I mean, I feel like that's better than attributing like a Miss Piggy line to Jim Henson or something. You know what I mean?
Which people on the internet have also done, by the way.
Right,
but
right.
yes.
But he created the whole thing, so everything they do is his by default. In
That's
the
what
mind
people
of the
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, it's kind of a cool legacy, I have to
Oh,
say.
sure. Yeah.
Which this brings me to something I wanted to bring up. So I happened to be chatting with some coworkers today, and the Muppets came up. And one of the women at the table expressed extreme hatred for the Muppets.
What?
Just hates them, finds them annoying. She said, there's something about their faces that makes me want to punch them.
Oh.
I know. Wait. And I said, which one? I tried to remain really calm, and I just wanted to get her opinion. Guess which one she wants to punch the most?
Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy?
No, that's what no. The one with the nose, she said.
Who?
Gonzo.
Gonzo?
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Yeah.
He's so cute.
It's the one she wants to punch the most. And then she sheepishly admitted that she doesn't want to punch Kermit. She did have to give me that. I was like,
Well, Kermit's a very sincere gentleman.
he is.
I don't...
This is a person in a helper role, right? So she's got a psychology background. And I said to her, in all honesty, how could you not cheer for the Muppets? And these words of this song right here are classic Muppet enthusiasm, inspiration. You can do it. You know, how could you want to punch that?
Yeah, I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. And my instinct is to say, like, these characters were designed and built by so many different people. How can you hate all of their faces?
Maybe she doesn't like puppets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be it.
Maybe she doesn't like non-human faces of any kind. Maybe she doesn't like animal faces either.
I don't think so, but she really doesn't like them up. And she was I would say she's in her 30s. She's not like so young that I don't know. I very rarely do you hear people express outright dislike of Muppets.
Yeah, that's probably true. They either like them or they're indifferent.
I was going to say, usually it's apathy.
Yeah. But if you do, these listeners, these are the words you should sing to them, these last few lines of the movie. That'll turn any Muppet hater into a lover of Muppet humanity.
Aw.
Do you think those lines are accurate? Is life like a movie, and is it possible to write your own ending?
Yes, I do.
Cool. We're all masters of our own fate.
Maybe not masters, but we got some input in there.
I believe it was the great Muppet enthusiast Sarah Connor who said, "There's no fate but what we make."
Perfect.
Terminator 2, you guys!
I know. I was...
I mean, I don't know. It's nice and hopeful, right? You know, I think more maybe you can't master your own fate, but don't give up. That's the message of that, right? It's the whole message of the whole movie.
Like, it's not the ending until you decide that it's the ending.
Yeah, until you make an impossible electric arc light, rip a hole in the ceiling, and pour the rainbow through to every Muppet ever known to the world.
So that's the next thing. That's a good segue because so I counted on Muppet Wiki, which on the Muppet movie page, they list all of the Muppets who are in the final shot, right? As they're singing the final lines, we see this huge group of Muppets.
Which is amazing, by the way. I mean, hats off to the person who
coordinated,
paused that and counted every Muppet, named every Muppet and put it on Muppet Wiki.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, it's insane. Yeah, good job, Muppet Wiki editor, whoever it was. If you want to take credit, email us. We'll mention who you are next time. But I counted, and this was one counting. I didn't double check. There are either 201 or 202 Muppets in that shot, depending on how you count the two-headed monster.
Well, I can tell you that I have a few things I want to go over from that American Cinematographer magazine, and
Mm-hmm.
in that it said there were 265. So
Okay.
I don't know if there were some little ones that you couldn't see. That would be my guess, or if they were just maybe overestimating a little bit, but somewhere in that neighborhood, yeah.
Well, there were numbers on the floor in the pictures that you sent.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Is there are these behind the scenes pictures where you can see how they did this shot with all the Muppets, and it's pretty like I'm glad I wasn't James Frawley trying to uh, make all this happen. Just the logistics of figuring out where all these puppeteers were going to be and how everyone was going to move, and getting them all to lip sync to the song at the same time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's these pictures. I'll put them in the post on the website. But there's one where you can see that they have spray painted numbers on the floor of the set, presumably so that every
Isn't that kind of
puppeteer.
like under the floor? I was trying to figure that
Yeah.
out. It's
So
like a
what they
pit,
did,
right?
yeah, it's I think it's the standard. Like they built the set up so there's a hole in what looks like the floor, so the puppeteers can be standing up and sticking the puppets up through the hole, if that makes sense. I'm not sure I
Yeah.
explained that very well.
Well, it does.
Yeah. So they're all standing on their numbers and sticking their puppets up, and then to us and to the camera, it looks like it's just puppets standing on the floor of the studio, of the soundstage. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And then there's one picture where you can see Jim and Frank, Jim Henson, Frank Oz, James Frawley, and a few other people addressing the crowd of puppets, and it's a great shot because it looks like they're actually talking to the characters. Like there's some monsters and Sam and Ernie and Bert, and there's a horse who looks like the horse is very attentively listening to what Frank Oz is saying.
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, it must have been a pretty. I guess it would be fun to be part of the shot.
Oh, I'm sure it was. And actually, one person who has talked in interviews about being in the shot, being on set for this, is film director John Landis, who had just made Animal House right before this, went on to direct Blues Brothers, Coming to America, Trading Places, a bunch of stuff. The Stupids, probably most famously. But he had talked in an interview with Kenneth Plume at IGN years ago. He talked about how there were just it was just so exciting for him to be on this set with all he described it as dozens and dozens of puppeteers.
Yeah, and what I've read somewhere is that they basically had to call every puppeteer in California and then some.
Right, and he was Grover. John Landis, the director of the Blues Brothers, performed Grover in this film.
Yeah.
Wow.
And another one of the performers was actually Tim Burton, who was like a Cal Arts animation student at the time, and would of course go on to direct Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, many other movies.
So do we know which character he performed?
I don't think we do. I think Muppet Wiki just says that he worked on the movie. Let me double check. I
didn't find that anywhere.
Yeah, but there is a if you see that one of the photos Ryan mentioned on Muppet Wiki, there's a close up that shows Landis and Burton, like it shows where they both are in that picture of all the puppeteers.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's on Tim Burton's Muppet Wiki page. But yeah, it just says he performed in the finale shot of the Muppet movie. We do not know. So yeah, next time you watch, Edward Scissorhands or Beverly Hills Cop 3, that the director of each performed in the Muppet movie.
And do you know if this is where John Landis met Frank Oz, or were they friends already? Because John Landis ended up bringing in Frank Oz to do cameos in most of his movies.
Right, and John Landis will return in Muppets Take Manhattan, where he has a speaking role.
That's true.
As Lenny of Boffo Lenny, Sacco Lenny fame.
Yeah, John Landis, longtime friend of the Muppets.
Right.
So, do you count the two-headed monster as one or two? I count it as one.
I think two, because there's the Richard Hunt head and the Jerry Nelson head, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't know.
They are two distinct personalities, the way they're depicted in the sketches on Sesame Street. I would say almost certainly it was just one puppeteer for this shot, though.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I did notice, too, in this, when it pulls back, the two-headed monster looks really big.
He does, yeah.
Like, his heads are almost as big as the head of Mean Mama, who is this large, full-body monster character.
Yeah,
I don't know. The two-headed monster is bigger than I would have expected him to be.
It could just be something about the perspective, too. I don't know.
Maybe.
And I feel like, have we seen this picture on like a T-shirt or something? Like, I feel like this scene has cropped up over the years in different things, or am I just imagining that?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a T-shirt. I'd buy it.
Sure.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. So I'm double checking this John Landis interview with Kenneth Plume, which is from 2004, and in this he does say, "I first met Frank when they were shooting the Muppet movie here in LA because I was a puppeteer on that movie."
So there you
go.
That is in fact their first meeting, and he would go on to put Frank Oz in Blues Brothers, Trading Places, a bunch of other movies, usually as a cop.
Right, so they met, and John Landis was like, "Hey, do you want to play a prison warden in this movie I'm making with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd?"
Yeah, presumably, yeah.
They just like to have fun together.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us down to the end of the clip. Any other final thoughts before we close?
I have a handful.
Jess, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Well, not really, except that, I mean, this is really the end, right? I don't want to spoil next week, but are these the last minutes, or are you going to go through the credits, or?
I mean, we see them back in the theater. Sweetums is going to burst through the screen and all that stuff.
Spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Spoiler for anyone who is actually watching the Muppet movie for the first time, 2 minutes at a time, over the course of the year.
It seems so final, though, doesn't it? It really does seem like the end.
Right. Well, it's the end of like the movie within.
Yeah, it's the end of their movie.
It's the end of the movie that the Muppets are watching.
Right.
All right. So Ryan, what were your notes?
All right. Let me see. So the rainbow itself. We talked many episodes ago about how did they do the rainbow at the beginning of the movie. And I think it was pretty much the same as this one, which is an optical effect. However, as they discussed, the various crew members discussed in that issue of American Cinematographer, they originally tried doing it with a scrim, which is like a theatrical trick, basically. So it says, a rainbow in the form of a translucent scrim was hung from the ceiling to the floor, and care had to be taken so that the texture of the scrim would not come into focus during pullback. So basically like a see-through curtain that was as tall as the entire soundstage. And as the camera pulls back through it, I guess, or under it, then it would reveal the rainbow over these characters. But they said it was impossible to get the colors to register brightly enough. So in the end, they added it optically, which is what we see here, and presumably what we see with the rainbow at the beginning of the movie. Huh. So I think this looks really good. I can't imagine it looking better than this any other way.
It looks like a rainbow.
So complicated.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to make a movie.
Yeah.
Also, in that same issue, special effects supervisor Robbie Knott, who we mentioned a week or two ago, talked about how he added glitter to the shot where the debris is falling through the hole in the ceiling. I didn't see it. I can't really tell that there's glitter there, but I'll take his word for it.
I noticed it. It is glittery.
Okay. So it just makes it seem more sparkly and rainbow-like.
Yeah, more special. Yeah.
There you go.
Just like, did either of you guys see the Reading Rainbow episode where they go behind the scenes of Star Trek: The Next Generation?
No.
It's Bionic Bunny Show is the title of the book, and the title of the episode. But on there, one of the special effects supervisors on Next Generation talks about how the warp effect is actually them swirling glitter around in water.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll see if I can find that clip and send it to you. We can put it in the show notes.
Sure.
I would
Glitter
imagine.
does make things a little extra special, I have to admit.
Well, I don't like glitter, but I do like old school practical style effects where they had to get creative and use physical things to do effects like this.
You don't like glitter?
I hate glitter. Glitter, like, once glitter gets on you, it sticks to you for the rest of your life.
Oh.
If you ever, like, if you do a craft project involving glitter, you're not going to get that stuff off of you. It's going to get under your fingernails. It's going to stick to your skin. It's terrible.
I have like a 12-pack of glitter shakers here just for any time for crafts and stuff.
Well, you can
I'm a
keep
fan
them.
of glitter. I'm going to sprinkle a little in a birthday card and mail it to you. Just
No, see, I was
ruin
going to
your
say
birthday.
too. There are those people who think it's fun to stick glitter in a birthday card and then it dumps all over your floor.
Just kidding. I would never do that to you.
Thank you. What else do I have? Oh, I just wanted to go over a couple of the. It's interesting to me to see where some of the characters are positioned. Like, you expect the main Muppet Show characters to be immediately near Kermit, and they are. But then as you pull back a little more, you see, like, I think first mostly some other Muppet Show characters. There's a fish, there's some babies, there's a bird. The character Zelda Rose is pretty close to them right there. And then also Statler and Waldorf are here. Despite they're Statler and Waldorf, but they still wanted to come and be a part of this finale.
I mean, that's pretty in character for them, though.
To join in on the big emotional, sentimental moment.
Yeah, when it comes right down to it, they usually want to be a part of the stuff that the Muppets are doing.
Yeah. And then I noticed the characters from the Land of Gorch sketches from Saturday Night Live have their own little section way over on the left side of the screen when it pulls out all the way.
Yeah. Everyone's favorite Muppets, King, Plutus, and Scred. And
yeah. So they're sort of relegated to their own section there.
In one of the photos you sent, you could see Bert and Ernie, and I'm presuming that was Grover standing with them.
Let me.
It's kind of hard to tell.
I don't see Grover.
You see Bert and Ernie?
Bert and Ernie are pretty close. It's like next to Kermit is Fozzie, and then Robin and Crazy Harry and Sam, and then Ernie, and then Bert. But I don't see Grover. He's there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He's kind of up and to the right from Bert on the screen, next to one of those monsters from the T-shirt sketch. He's either Kermit the Gorf or Kermit the Groff or Kermit the Forg.
Yeah.
Remember that sketch?
One of my faves.
Yeah. And then I also just wanted to mention the Muppet Wiki page that has the list of characters mentions a few notable characters who are missing from this, or semi-notable. So Sweetums, of course, and we'll find out why he's not in this shot in just a moment. But then also Mr. Snuffleupagus is not in this shot.
Well, yeah, in 1979, he's not going to be there with everyone else.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess that's because nobody except Big Bird believed that he was real. Although, when did other Muppet characters start to see Snuffy? Because I feel like that happened.
I mean, I've seen stuff where little kids have even seen him, before the adults did and stuff.
Yeah, I just don't know when they started doing that.
Again, I don't know. I was born in 1984, so I was surprised as a teenager to find out that Snuffy had ever been imaginary. Quote
It was very frustrating.
As a kid,
clearly standing right there.
Oh yeah, those old sketches are incredibly. They're infuriating.
They are.
but Snuffy, nobody sees Snuffy in this movie because he's just not there. And Muppet Wiki also notes that Sam the Robot is not in this shot, and I have no idea why Sam the Robot wouldn't be there, but there you have it.
What about Gaffer?
I don't think Gaffer existed.
I was going to say, I don't know if Gaffer had been built yet. When did Gaffer debut? Was it the 4th or 5th season of The Muppet Show?
Oh, that late into it?
Yeah, I think it might even be season 5, honestly.
All right.
I'm not sure, but I don't think it was this early.
Yeah. So then I have one more note, and I don't know, this might be my last citation of the June 12th, 1978 draft of the screenplay. But so in that draft of the script, the shot continues to pull back. So we see the huge crowd of Muppets, and then it keeps pulling further and further back. It says, the final shot of the film is a huge pullback in a tremendously large set, which continues to pull back from Hollywood, the US, Earth, and back into space. As the end comes up, we pull back to the screening room. So
I kind of like that.
It would have been very dramatic, and I think it's a callback to a moment that was also cut where the beginning of the movie was started in space and then zoomed into Kermit on the Swamp.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, but I think it's one of these kind of like, all right, get to the point. Kind of, it's it would just add unnecessary time.
If it wasn't coming all the way from space, I think I could really get behind that, though, because it's like the Muppets are bigger than just the Muppets. It's like the whole world. But
would you like to see it just go as far back as just seeing the planet Earth?
Yeah, I think just as far back as planet Earth. Does that make me like Earthist or something? I don't know.
I think you're allowed to be Earthist.
Okay. I think space is a little too far. I don't want to spoil any other movies that you're going to review down the road, but space is a little
well,
too
I can
far.
tell you we will not be reviewing the Robert Zemeckis movie Contact. So.
Well, I think that is a good place to close for today.
Indeed.
We will not be reviewing the Robert Zemeckis movie Contact.
I love that movie, by the way. It's just not a Muppet movie.
I've never seen it. But
all right.
We'll more talk about the Muppet movie, which I have seen. In the meantime, listeners, please check out toughpigs.com on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, and anywhere else you can find it. Jess, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you remind our listeners where they can find you on the internet?
Pretty much on that Tough Pigs forum. You can find it right from the Tough Pigs website, and that's where all my Muppet friends and I like to talk about Muppets.
We're still
and other things.
And other things. That's right.
You can follow me on Twitter at Zeppo Marxist. You can follow Ryan at @MeRyanRowe. And if you feel moved to give us a positive review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, please do. And join us again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Speaker is dead.
No.